Today we'll cover simple running suture. You'll always want to start at the beginning or end of the wound. I start at the proximal right here. You're simply going to begin with a simple interrupted suture. However, we're not going to cut the loose end. This will be the anchor for the rest of the wound. Therefore, this is going to be a continuous. So tie a surgeon's knot first, make sure it's flat, and then 2 single. And we'll talk about where to place the knot, but right now let's just pull this over to the left. Leave this continuous suture, because this is what we're going to drive all the way through the length of the wound. I'm just going to cut this free in right here so it doesn't get in the way. And now we're simply going to systematically angle the outside suture up along the wound in a linear fashion. And you'll see once we get to the inside of the wound, it'll go straight across with no angulation. The key to making this symmetrical is making sure the angle on the outside right here is about a 45-degree angle. And when you're first learning this, what I like to do is go ahead and lay the thread on the next throw and sort of mark it with the instrument. So as you can see, I have a little indentation right there, marking the spot. And we'll drive the needle through. If you have to use the pickups, that's fine as well too. The skin is a little tough. Now, the inside layer, this is going to go straight across to the other side. So using the pickups, I'm going to pick this up and then drive straight across through the subcutaneous tissue and then back out through the skin. Always use your pickups to drive that needle so you don't stick yourself. Now you notice what I'm doing here is placing the needle driver in the loop so I don't create knots. And then this will be our first angulated suture. The other thing I'll do is lay the instrument down so I can get some good symmetry. In the vertical fashion, I'll also lay my instrument down to mark the insertion point on the right side. This will also help with symmetry. So again, let's lay this suture over, mark the spot, make it even with the previous insertion, and then move upwards in a linear fashion. Drive, there's the angulation. Let me grab this other piece here. I'm going to drive the thread or the suture straight across in the buried portion, and then simply pull the needle through. Notice how this is working really nicely when I put the instrument through. So this one's going to be a pretty good idea of how the instrument works. Now notice, this is not a real clean incision, and you'll notice this little laceration right here and tattered skin is going to create a little difficulties. I'm driving right here. And it's going to cause this second one likely to be a little bit off, but it's still closing the wound. Driving through straight across beneath. Place the instrument through the loop. And you get some really nice symmetry. Now I'm already noticing, because of this tattered wound right here, it's going to create a little bit of an offset. That's fine. You'll notice sometimes you don't always get them perfect. The idea is to get the skin closed. Again, lay the suture across, gives me a good measurement point. Drive the needle through. I have to use these pickups. The skin is really tough. And then again, drive straight across. Put the instrument through the suture and laid nicely here. Now I'm going to push this thread along to get some of that tension out. And if you'll notice, I'm going to still lay the thread across as I'm getting close to the end of the wound. Load the needle. Mark your spot. Take the first bite. A little difficult here to get this piece of tissue. And drive straight across. Instrument through the loop. Now this is the tricky part. How do I end this wound? You're going to end it just like we began it. We're going to end with a simple interrupted, but we're not going to interrupt it. So we got one more here to go. Let's end this one right here. And look how nicely the wound is approximating. That third suture really was disrupted by that tattered tissue. However, I'm more concerned about the approximation of the wound rather than that third suture. Although I will admit, I want this to be perfect, and sometimes it's not going to be perfect. Look how beautiful it's closed. Now, let's get all the tension out. Press the needle driver under each suture to make sure all of that has all the tension out. Assess the wound. Nicely closed. Let's load the needle. And now we're simply going to go straight across now. And it looks similar to that first bite we took. I'm going to come out right next to the insertion point. Again, use the instrument to close the loop without knots. And like our other suture, you're going to use this loop and act like it's the free end. So what I'm going to do is close it as closely as I can, then wrap twice to create the surgeon's knot. Grab the superior portion of the loop, and there is the knot. Again, now you can go one. Let's tie this knot. And let's do it one more time to secure. And it looks just like a simple interrupted, however the loop creates two. So you're going to have 3 free ends on this last suture. Now, if you see some symmetry is disrupted or the wound is not approximated, you can always push the instrument up through the wound, and there is simple continuous.